when a person of age means older than me, because if you're not middle-aged yet, I was called 40 years old by people who are accompanied by me. When you use the word accompanied, it's different than assist. It means that you're just there for looks. But you can also, I don't know. It's just in Street Fighter, a video game. In fighting game, I'm going to put a lot into what fighting games are. And I'm not under psychosis. I escaped it 8 times today. Super hard day because I haven't gotten sleep in the last 2 days. I've been using nicotine every night. And actually, anything that makes me have a buzz, I tend to not want to go to bed if I don't want to, which if I do have a buzz, then I don't want to go to bed. That being said, being accompanied by something in video games is like if you look like an interesting person, people are going to look at you. So I told my friend who has a different melanin than I am, and with whatever that might mean. Or if you're going to not want to get a flag on the only major platform I care about, the only one that is random, and I want low numbers of views so I can see what is actually I'm coming from. And when I say low numbers of views, I mean above 0. So I know like one robot is an AI and one sting operation is a cop, and they watch me on this only platform I care about. As long as it's randomized and above 0, I'm stoked, because at least a cop is watching this. If there's test strips, there's a silver lining here. And you can't see it, my phone's too bad, but there's like this black piece above the gutter, and on top of that black piece, with my eyes, because they're so acute, I saw this one female's eyes, and I wanted to tell her they look like a cat's eyes, but once I gazed into them, I realized it was nothing like a cat's shape of an eye. It was just the sharpness of it. A circle pupil instead of a thumbnail, which is a cat eye, is a thumbnail pupil. Side note, accompanied. Her eyeball was accompanied by a cat's eye, which is interesting. It's kind of a play on with what tiger's eye is. There's a rock, and it's called tiger's eye. If you're a geologist, then you ought to know how tiger's eye is accompanied. A tiger's eye is probably accompanied by the tiger's rock, which is a plethora of different amounts and assorts of rocks. When you're talking about something that is accompanied, it's different than an assist. And in video games, if you see one reference, you'll know what I mean. Once the graphics go away on an animation, this is Joker and him and MK11, I guess. But then he gets boring once all of his flashy animations go away. Is what this one guy said on the internet, dude. DOOD, handle. I'm not going to write in a handle. I'm a lazy cameraman and a publisher and a producer and a director and a person only pulling dialogue, trying to write a script off of lives that I can't rewatch because I don't have 1,000 subs. I only have 12, which is my high, and I'm stoked. Actually, I just dropped down to 11. So above 0. What a standpoint, right? But back to the strip up there in a pool, you see on the ceiling of the pool, this, it looks like a flame, but on a piece of flat surface. And so this is what water reflecting in a pool you'll see on the ceiling. And it's like a water fountain because the water is reflecting the surface is why it keeps moving in like a shadow and then light in between, like a lava lamp almost. But on the surface of the glass is like in a pool. If you go inside of a pool in a closed room and you look at the ceiling and the sun is shining off the water, that's what I'm seeing above this gutter. So if you can see a tiny strip where you know something's evident, you can have an accompaniment. Excuse me, my French. An accompaniment. I saw a word. It was something it shouldn't be, but it had like able at the end, and it had like F, and it started with a COM. Conformatable. It sounds like conforming, but matable. Able. It shouldn't have had that long ending. And I saw it in a book and I was reading. I'm like, this is beyond what this word should be. No one's ever used it. And it's right plain out in the open. More on that word later. But for now, using that word to dovetail what accompaniment is versus it was Akuma and this one Street Fighter girl, this chick. He accompanied her at the start in the preview page of a fight. This is in video games before they start going. But if you ever talk about breasts and drugs and say that one is the other, then you're gonna get flagged. That's what I did on one of my channels, so I went to the other and I grew up to 12. Now I have 12 on both. And I don't have psychosis. But to talk to a therapist, you have to say that you have a mental derangement. It's like code words. When you're in a hospital, they'll only let you leave if they ask you, are you not suicidal? I've never been in a hospital overnight, but in order to leave, they ask you code words. And that's basically one of them if you boil it down. Secondly, that strip, I can see with my eyes, but not on camera, so I'm not going to like publish it and trying to draw it in. I will draw a picture because of paintings. I owe $50,000 in debt to nefarious attributes. Accoutrements. I call them accoutrements. In government, they call them entities. And the entities swarm around capitals because there's a lot of dark money, black money, in the dark market, the black market. So I'm going to make paintings and get good at drawing because I know what at length people do in little figures that are not detailed, but they look good at a distance. These are co-stars, but in painting, if you do it just right, it looks better than stars of a movie. But in a painting of a star is not a portfolio. You can draw on them in the background anywhere because they're so small. I guess that's a lot of movies in the droid army of Star Wars, and then the Mortal Kombat when the droids take over, and that's like half of a plot when Shao Kahn goes to Earthrealm in MK like 3 or something. The Clone War already begun, and the Sector and Cyrax are running it, the gamut on Earthrealm, and they already dropped the clones. They addressed it in like MK later after 3, but it's what Jarek went in and blew up one ship that had all these clones on it, and that was just a side note of how Shao Kahn was taking over in MK3. Reference that back later.